starting number 1 and should be first to shoot, Evgeny Abramenko. And Belarus with a good team. It's been a few years since they've been right up there with the best, or a few decades probably, I should say. Novikov, he goes off number 44. He could do something.
Good chance to see the climbing. And interestingly, Abramenko going through, of course, Rafael Perret, who won the world title on these tracks, is now coaching the Belarus. Still waiting to see the magic come through. They definitely have changed their skiing technique. They're just becoming accustomed to it.
Matiasko from Slovakia, as you can see, good strong skier, and both Slovenia and Slovakia seem to have stepped up a level over the last 12 months. Lots of help from the IBU as well. It's so important for the IBU, Mike, isn't it, that biathlon isn't just about 3 or 4 big teams.
And I think the IBU have done a fantastic job. They give grants to nations who don't have coaching knowledge, to send IBU trained coaches to give them support and help. And of course, last week in Hochfilzen, they hand out an awful lot of tracksuits, skis, equipment.
Svensson doesn't need any of that. He's got plenty of his own, and he's just started. He's a couple of Ks behind Clement Bauer out on the tracks, just doing V2. Lots of resistance, showing good strength. Some would go down a gear, switch technique. What's your opinion on that, Mike?
Well, Clement Bauer's so strong, he knows this track well. I would agree, it's changing the gear down into the faster technique is more efficient. You get the flow of energy.
Dominic Landertinger sitting in the top 10 of the World Cup standings after 5 races. I think he probably would have taken that at the beginning of the season. Now, Bergman of Sweden. Will it be Bergman? Will it be Lindström? Will it be Ferry? One of them usually performs at this stage of the season. 2 years ago it was Ferry. Last year, as we've mentioned, it was Bergman. And a good positive start from Karl-Johan. Says he's a new man after his experience last year in Ruhpolding. He said, Mike, he's now achieved everything he wanted to achieve in biathlon, so he can relax, and he's hoping that that brings him good results. Surely you have to set, once you've won a world title, you have to set yourself a new goal.
You would think so, but in a sense, I mean, he's 34-year-old now. Bergman, he's, as you say, he's achieved most things. There's a real deep confidence about him when you hear him talking, when you watch him training. I think he's like the guru of biathlon now. He's done everything, and he still loves this game. And I think we're going to see more titles this year from him. Now Clement Bauer is stepping it up into skate 1.
It just doesn't have that elegance that some of the better skiers. Svensson will look very smooth up that particular section. It looks like a hard grind, but he's still covering the ground pretty well. Arndt Pfeiffer of Germany. He is now one of the big men after being brought in 3 years ago as a first-timer in Oberhof. Suddenly, he finds himself at the top of the German team, and especially with Mickey Greiss now retired, it's all about Bernbacher and Pfeiffer.
It's interesting, isn't it? 2 former Olympic champions retiring, but before the end of the first 2 World Cups. They came into this season with intent, but they've had enough and signed out.
Now, the Swiss have certainly cracked the cross-country, and Dario Colonia leading the way in the cross-country World Cup over the last few seasons. Their biathlon certainly getting better, but a little way off the pace of the big 4 or 5 nations. So here you see the approach into the range, and what is it, 30 seconds of free skiing, essentially, to bring the pulse and the breathing under control.
It is. Thomas Koss looking a little nervous. Interestingly, Bauer is skiing quite a bit off the pace, 13 seconds down coming into the range.
Yeah, he was only 3 seconds down going through 2.2, so he's eased up over the last 500 meters. I guess the whole idea is to make sure he hits the targets. Good start. Little snatch on that last round, but all 5 have gone down, and things going to game plan. De Lorenzi's gone out in 8:49. He was 13 seconds behind. He's still got another 10 meters or so to go, and he switched it round. He's 12 inside. Good work. Ole Einar Bjorndalen, a man who needs no introduction whatsoever. He's done it all, 93 World Cup wins, and he's looking for number 94. Will it come here?
I really think from what we saw on Sunday in the relay, he had the fastest time. It was only by 2 seconds, and that's with one spare shot.
Now, we very seldom see both the horizontal and the vertical sights changed at the same time, but that's good drills from Bergman.
Well, he is experienced. He knows the flags. He reads them well. That's indicating the strength of the wind, but hasn't worked for his middle shot.
2 breaths in between each round. Clement Bauer was on 1 and saving time as a result. And, of course, Bauer hitting all 5. So perhaps already we know it's not going to be Bergman's day.
Pinter has come into the range 16.2 seconds ahead of Bauer into the range.
Well, food for thought, Mike, because Bauer obviously cruising the 500-metre approach into the range area, shooting very quickly and accurately, and those racing into the firing point are paying a price, despite the fact that it is one of the easiest approaches on the World Cup circuit. Now, let's see what Bernbacher does. He's one of the winners of sprints so far this year. He won last week in Hochfilzen. That was a good performance. The wind... it will certainly create a few problems, Mike, and there's always a bit of a discrepancy between lanes 25 to 30 and 1 to 5.
Well, there is, and there's a little vortex in here as well. The flags are from the left, close to the firing point, but slightly from the right as you look down towards the target.
Where's your money?
Oh, he's 92% normally. I was about to say he won't miss.
Pricey mistake, and that glare down the range which says, where did it miss? Why did it miss? Well, he'll find out later on. Every single round is scoped by the coaches, and there'll be a debrief after the race this evening. Now, his teammate, Eric Lesser.
Just one click there, adjusting into the wind. Hasn't helped him.
Just explain why Bergman also used the vertical.
Well, if you look at the flags, there's a slight pressure from tangent from the top left blowing them down the way, so that's the wind pressing down as well. So Bergman raised his sights up to cater for that push down which that wind is giving the bullet as it flies through.
Second shoot and final shoot in the standing position. The sighting not quite so important. Now, big moment for Henrik Labe Lund. He's in the top 30 of the World Cup rankings, but crucially, he is the number 5 Norwegian at the moment.
I love the way Labe Lund, we saw it in the relay, he takes a long time reading the flags. For a young biathlete, I think it's fantastic. Well, one of the least experienced here in the top groupings.
Well, that's a good steady shoot. That's more like an individual 20-kilometre shoot, Mike. Very deliberate, very cautious, but successful. And it's going to put him up thereabouts with Clement Bauer. He's 0.4 of a second outside. Very, very steady indeed. And the key, obviously, today is to hit every single one of the 10 targets.
Interestingly, Labe Lund came into the range 13.2 seconds faster than Clement Bauer, and it just shows the pace in which Clement Bauer shot. Look at the ski time, it's brilliant.
Change of the sights for Svensson as well. The briefing in the Norwegian camp. Is one click going to be enough? Nice light trigger action. Good shoot, really good shoot.
Could well be a Svensson day. He just has that determination with his, 34th last week. He wants to put himself back in the running.
Not only that, he is very quick. He's over 10 seconds inside the best, 12.3. That's useful. That's half a penalty loop for Svensson. And if he pushes the pace on this loop, he could find himself in a position where he can miss one and still have a chance of taking the lead. Still an early start for Svensson. He's in that first group, number 13. Still got 90 starters after him, so difficult to predict at this stage. Well, no one's missed more than one so far. The majority going clear. The fastest of those with a miss is Eric Lesser at the moment. 8:58, he's 34 seconds behind Svensson's leading time.
You do often see that, sorry Patrick, the official taking two, you only need 2 magazines today, 5 bullets in each, there's only 10 shots fired today. The official asked the athlete, do you sure you want to start with 4 mags? And he said, okay, take 2 of them out.
So away goes Jean-Philippe Legelic, the Canadian who won a World Cup earlier on in the year, his first ever win. When he raced here 2 years ago, he missed 5 in the sprint event, so hopefully those memories have been erased. Jakob Fak is the man who's drawing the cheers from the crowd, because Jakob Fak is having a fantastic season. One of only 3 men to have been on the podium twice. Is he going to make it a win today? And of course he won the pursuit in Hogfilson. Again, the wind changes, Mike.
It's definitely much stronger from where the shot fall was. We're moving it almost a centimetre to the right on that strength of wind. And this is slowing the pace of your shots down. Each of the athletes we're seeing now in this windier part of the race, it's really tripping up Pfeiffer. Now he's made his adjustments. Oh. Well, I think Mark Korkner will now be getting the radio message out into the woods to advise the other German biathletes where the fall of those shots were, for them to make their adjustments on their sights.
Well, it's a shame we haven't had a close-up as yet. Hallenbatter having the same problems. Lars Berger about to start, brought back from the IBU Cup. He's been up and down, Lars Berger. Nothing good on the World Cup so far, but he is a potential winner whenever he starts a sprint race. So, 2 misses from Hallenbatter, and his chances of a PB have gone.
The wind is less strong down this side of the range, the far right, lanes number